Ramsey, we're going to do something today on the show that I really love doing. I'm going to go to Mexico and call coyotes. The first time I ever called coyotes in Mexico that I can remember, I was with you in Obregon.
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And we just kind of did it a couple afternoons after duck hunting, but it was just like fantastic.
'Cause it's perfect habitat, but nobody hunts them down there.
That's right. Coyotes everywhere. They're not suspicious about everything. So, a guy named Sergio Alcazar, he owns ALC Global Adventures, whatever. He's around Denver. I just happened to run into him through a mutual friend of ours, but he kept telling me about having all these coyotes down at this place where they do duck hunts and pheasant hunts, some other type of hunts down that way. So I said, well, I'd kind of like to do that. One reason we've been spending about 2 years developing our new caller here. We call it the Triple Threat Calling System. This is production model number 1, the first one to come off production. I didn't have it on this show. You'll see it's brown colored on this show because it was a couple of prototypes we had, but I was anxious to get it into the field. And so as soon as SHOT Show was over last January, early February, we get together with Sergio and our good friend Skip Knowles. You know Skip Knowles. He's you know him most as editor of Wildfowl magazine, but I know him as editor of Wildfowl magazine and Predator Nation magazine. Right. So he loves coyote hunting. So me and Skip and Sergio, we take off. We fly to San Diego, and all meet up at the airport there. And their head guide, Victor, picks us up there in a Suburban, and we're gonna cross into Mexico by land. I got my gun and ammo and everything with me, but we have done that before. It's getting easier and easier and easier to get these guns into Mexico and ammo into Mexico.
That was easy with the paperwork.
Yeah, get the paperwork right. That's the trick to it all, So I don't even remember where we crossed. We go outside of San Diego a little bit and cross. It wasn't any problem, We got our gun permit and all that stuff just like in a few minutes, and then we drive on down. And they've got a camp in this little town. It's probably about 3 hours into Sonora, Mexico. We're on the western side of Sonora, not too awful far from Baja. And so we go down there and we get there late in the afternoon, and get settled in our little camp. And next day we're going to call coyotes.
We all start predator hunting as kind of like a secondary hobby when deer season ends. And as you grow much more passionate about it, the idea of traveling starts to make a lot of sense to actually travel to predator hunt. And I'll seize any moment I can to hunt with Terry Denman. He's one of the most experienced and accomplished predator hunters of our time, as well as a brilliant call designer. And as the editor of Predator Nation, I go along with him as a so-called pro and learn and learn and learn nonstop. So when I got the call, I absolutely was jumping for joy so I could go.
My name is Sergio Alcazar, and I am from Denver, Colorado, originally from Mexico. And this week we're gonna have the MOJO team join us in Sonora, Mexico in our Mexico operation. The name of our company is ALC Global Adventures, and we represent outfitters from all over the world. However, we're gonna be hosting MOJO and the MOJO team this week for a predator hunt. And in Mexico we have our baby, the operation we own called Baja Sonora, Mexico. And we have some partners down there. We specialize in duck hunting, wild pheasants, quail, dove, but this week we're going to be doing a lot of predator hunting. We expect a lot of action. This area here in the desert, the coyotes are not pressured. We have some agricultural areas, some desert hunting, and we expect the coyotes to be responding very well, and we're very excited to try that triple threat of MOJO. That call I'm very excited to see, and I believe the coyotes are going to love it.
Victor, our head guide, he hunts this area a lot. He knows his way around real well. He sees these coyotes all the time. He knows where they are. So he takes us out. It's basically an agricultural type area. Lots of farming going on there. They're growing all this produce and hay and, all the different things they grow in that moderate climate that they have down there. They got a lot of irrigation canals everywhere. And there are a lot of coyotes. So he just takes us out to some spot. I don't know why he picked this spot or anything, and we jump out and basically set up on the side of the road. We're in here, and some areas just all grown up with brush. There's tons of coyotes in here. It's kind of mist and rain a little bit right now, so I don't know if that made them lay down or not. We'll find out quickly, My theory on it is if the coyotes up on their feet, they're fairly easy to call if they don't bust you. If they bedded up, it's much harder to get them to come out of the, get up out of the bed and come to the call, so. We're about to see what's going to happen, so come on, let's go make our first setup.
This segment was brought to you by Stoger, works as hard as you do. This segment is brought to you by Banded. Join the Banded Nation.
I'm surprised he came that far with that wind. Well, we had a coyote, the wind's blowing just right through there, and we had a coyote come right down this road. This brush has got us blocked off here. Skip was gonna take the first shot, but he's sitting right by the bush. I knew he couldn't see him, so I just stood up and walked out here, and he busted and was gone.
That was a heck of a kickoff, so the sun's not even up yet, and we got one in and got a shot, but gosh, he was pretty close to me. I think I probably could have seen him, but he's in and out so quick, just like Terry said. So here we go, off to the next one. That's a heck of a first stand in Mexico, though. I guess it was a really big coyote, so we'll get him.
I thought y'all would be hidden, you know, y'all were just sitting on chairs on the side of some bushes instead of being all hidden up like we duck hunt.
No, we don't do it like that. I only call about 20 minutes at a time, sometimes only about 15. And most of the coyotes that we call will come between 2 and 15 minutes. Now, the longer you sit there, there is a chance that they'll come from further and further and further off or whatever, but the best use of your time is to call about 15, 20 minutes, get up and go to the next stand if you don't call one in. You know, one of our main goals, as I said earlier, Ramsey, was to, hunt with our brand new collar that we spent 2 years developing. We took this to the SHOT Show in January, and this is 2 weeks later than the SHOT Show. We were down here in Mexico. But, you know, when we developed this little decoy, it was first just a decoy, not a collar, called the MOJO Critter. It basically changed how we hunt, because once they lock onto that, they don't pay much attention to you.
Right.
And we can't hide anyway. The cameraman got to be where he can see and swing around, because these coyotes, they just come running up there. Well, we just move on down the road a ways. You know, we like to travel about a mile between setups if we can, so I don't know where we're at, you know. So Victor drives us down there and puts us out and tells us to cross this canal and go out there, and we'll come out into a big opening ring by brush. So as you can see, by this time, the wind is starting to blow really bad. Now, the forecast, you know, that morning was for the wind to blow that day, and for it to be a poor day for calling coyotes.
We came out here, it's windy, it's just terrible conditions. We hadn't seen anything since dawn. And Terry walks out here, and there's a big field behind us where they could come from. There's a whole field edge here, long strip of trees, and he dopes it all out and goes, "You're gonna come out right here." And he set us all up. So the caller's in the field there, and that coyote appeared just about 20 yards, 15 yards from him, right on the other side of the bush. They're not bull elk, they're not big whitetails, and my heart's still just going. It's fantastic.
I've always thought you got to be calling in as many or more downwind than you are upwind. So it wouldn't surprise me to learn that 50% of what we call we never see. And if it was 60%, I wouldn't be shocked at that either, you know. They're more likely to come from here than they are there. The only thing that makes a difference is oftentimes you can set up to where there's a much less probability of coyotes being downwind from you, you know. Sometimes you can't. Yeah, like here, big open wheat field here. So it's, but you know, he could have came up to a half a mile. He could have come up that brush line over half a mile, and he'd smelled us by then and went on. So you don't know what's happened like that. You know? Well, this is the first coyote we killed with our brand new triple threat calling system. Got the built-in tripod, got the standard critter top. You know, we've had some of our pro staff out for about a couple of weeks, and they've killed quite a few of them, but we've been going to shows, so this is the first time we got to go hunting with them. This is our first morning, you know, so wind blowing out here pretty hard. We're in Sonora, Mexico, you know, it's lots of coyotes here. We see tracks everywhere. They've howled every time we've turned the collar on this morning, but the wind blowing real hard. They hadn't been coming to the collar, but this one came out. you know, about 35 yards from us or so, and my good buddy Skip shot it with some TSS and put it down in a hurry, you know, so we're excited about this product. Y'all stay tuned, we're gonna kill some more coyotes with it.
Closed captioning provided by Fatal Shot Chokes. One choke, all loads.
Well, wind blowing's hard. The conditions are getting so bad, we decided we'd just take a break and go in for lunch. And what we're hoping for is the wind to calm down before dark. And because with that wind blowing like that, I'm not going to say you're not going to call a coyote, but your percentage chances aren't very good. Let's go have a lunch.
Let's do it.
Well, the reason you can't hardly hear me is because the wind blowing about 40 miles an hour. It was supposed to, a few days ago, the forecast said it's going to rain all day today. Today's Saturday, first day we're here. It sprinkled a little bit this morning, but it came a hard rain about a day or so ago. The roads are muddy, everything's muddy. Wasn't too bad when we started this morning, but then the wind got up to 20 and it may be 30 miles an hour now. So we've been kicking around the lodge here, just kind of waiting for it to calm down. It's supposed to calm down a little before dark. Now they're putting that off a little later it may blow all the way to dark, but it's supposed to be great tomorrow. So we finally decided that we only knew one thing. We weren't going to call in here at the lodge. So we're going to go out there and give it a try, even though the conditions are, it's hard to say they're not ideal. They're not good. That's what they are. They're not good. They're bad, you know. But not going to call one here, so we're going to go out there and make a few setups between now and dark. It's about 3 o'clock, I think, you know, so we'll call from now until it gets dark about 5:30, 5:45, so who knows?
That is crazy. I've never seen, I can't think of anywhere in the American West I've seen coyote tracks like this. This is just insane. If it turns on, and when it does, when the wind lays down, it could get really dirty quickly. I'm so excited to be here. I've never seen tracks like this.
Well, we give it the good old try, Ramsey, but condition was just bad. Wind was howling, you know. I didn't expect to call anything, and we didn't. But we called on till dark, and then we're optimistic because the weatherman who said the wind was going to blow today and was correct, said it's going to be great tomorrow.
Well, good. You can't kill anything from the cow.
You think the weatherman can be correct 2 days in a row?
Maybe, Terry. I wonder if they're better weathermen than ours.
I don't know about that, but I know one thing. Let's go back to camp, we'll get some dinner, have a good night's rest. Good or bad, we'll give it a try tomorrow. Well, Ramsey, you and I have been in Mexico enough to know that you're going to get fed well while you're down there.
Right,
You know. They can cook some good food. These guys have some type of big rotisserie deal. Do you see that over a big outdoor pit? And they cooked a whole hog on there for us, along with the, beans or frijoles and all the Mexican stuff.
I mean, you have it right there.
Eventos Murillo para servirle. Mexicali, Baja California. Mexicali, Baja.
We were out trying to call coyotes in the wind. We weren't doing any good, but they were doing good because they were cooking a whole hog here on the outdoor rotisserie using something I can't pronounce exactly like they pronounced it, but what it means is ironwood. It's real hard wood down here in Mexico. I've encountered ironwood in Africa. It's extremely hard and it burns real slow and burns real hot. They have something equivalent to it here that they cook this whole hog on. So we're going to eat, we're going to get some sleep, and the good news is the weatherman says that the wind's going to quit blowing in the night tonight. So at first light in the morning when we get out there, it's going to be about 5 miles an hour, sunny. Going to be a pretty day tomorrow, and coyotes are in trouble, that's all I can tell you. Today is the day. Yesterday was our first day to hunt, and but the wind started blowing. It was pretty good right at daylight, and then the wind started blowing, and it blew and blew and blew, and so we came in the middle of the day, and then we went back out about 3 hours before dark in anticipation of the wind trailing off by dark, but it did not. It blew right into the dark, and then it rained during the night. But today is going to be sunny. I see stars out there everywhere. The wind's blowing about 3 or 4 miles an hour. It's not supposed to get over about 5 or 6 miles an hour all day long, so it will get a little warm probably in the middle of the day. They're showing about 71 for the middle of the day. So we're optimistic. I think today's going to be today. We don't call them today. I don't know when we would call them. I see more coyote sign here than any place I've ever been in my whole life. So coyotes are here. Nobody's hunting them, so there's absolutely no reason when we get to hit that point when the fish start biting, then we ought to do well. So
You hunt with so much confidence in a place that I've never seen coyote tracks like this ever, like game trails with no other game. It's just coyote tracks. It's crazy. I can't imagine the volume of animals that exists here. So you can't help but hunt with a ton of confidence. And now the weather's, we're gonna run out of excuses today if we don't whomp them. So hopes are high.
Victor carries us back out in this same agriculture area. We set up in, I think that's wheat, irrigated wheat field. You see they got levees in it. It looks just like a rice field. You know?
Right.
So we put the collar out in front of us out in the wheat and turn it on. First thing that happened, we get back door from back here. Cow runs right out the middle of us from there, but you know, he come in from downwind, so naturally he smelled us, and he ran out that way. I turned around backward. Needless to say, I didn't kill him, you know. But we kept on playing, and coyotes howl in the brush over across my wheat field, and then all of a sudden we see one, and then we see two, and they'd mill around everything, but we couldn't get them to come. And then we see three, but you know, my experience is if they sit there and howl at you for a while, they're not going to come. Now, I don't know if they were seeing us, or they were just suspicious, or they saw the truck, but for whatever reason, they didn't come. Now, you know, Sergio had borrowed a rifle while we were there. We don't know anything about the rifle. It was like a .243. He took a shot at one of them. You can see he hit low. Anyway, called 4 coyotes. Didn't kill any.
Wow.
This thing going like I was hoping.
That's still pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is, but you want to kill them.
Sure.
They need killing. They bad animals.
They're smarter than a duck, it sounds like.
They are.
I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, they are. Well, it might help you. It'll give you a little mental exercise there.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna outsmart them too many times.
3, right? 3 and then 4, like this.
Just crazy.
Oh yeah, it was intense.
It's exactly what we were hoping for.
Oh,
What happened today after the storm last night and after a windy day yesterday?
Yeah.
They're starving. Let's get moving.
The fish are
This got me
biting.
excited.
The fish are biting, Terry said.
Awesome.
I got good news and bad news. There's plenty of coyotes, but thus far we're not doing real good at calling them up and killing them. So let's go to stand 2. Maybe it's gonna get better.
He came up probably within what, I'm gonna guess he come up within 50 yards of that collar. And that collar's out there about 30 yards, and then he busted. So we rolled him up. I tell you what, we're shooting this Apex tungsten super shot, you know. I bet we shot that cow 80 yards.
More, congratulations.
All right.
It's just like yesterday. We went out and missed one, and then we went out second set and clobbered one.
Good job to look.
Hilarious.
You found it.
Well, Ramsey, we had more happenings on this hunt than we could get in this one show. And so we're going to we'll put the rest of them in another episode to follow this one. It was a great hunt. You can see that we calling a cow
Oh, was it good.
on almost every stand, even though They are suspicious, and they don't seem to want to come to the call as good as we'd like them. They coming up there close enough for us to kill them, especially with that TSS shotgun ammo. If you'd like to hunt northern Mexico, you ought to get a hold of Sergio. He owns ALC Global Adventures. They hunt a lot of things in Sonora, Baja, northern Mexico. They hunt pheasant, duck. We hunted these predators. I think they might even hunt some deer or something. I'm not sure about that, but get a hold of Sergio. We're going to put the information on the screen, but the best way to get a hold of him is just go to MOJOOutdoors.com and go to the TV link, and then scroll down to the sub-link on Outfitters and scroll down. It'll list him alphabetically right there. You know, give him a call, send him an email, and he'd like to hear from you. But that's all the time we got for today. For all of us at MOJO, I'm Terry Denman. God bless you. We'll see you again next week.
All hunts seen on MOJO TV are fair chase.